So I went off and left the sheet lying on the table, and when I came back today, what do you think I found sitting in the middle of the page? A real true daddy long legs. I picked him up very gently by one leg and dropped him out of the window. I wouldn't hurt one of them for the world. They always remind me of you. We hitched up the spring wagon this morning and drove to the center to church. It's a sweet little white frame church with a spire and 3 Doric columns in front. Or maybe Ionic. I always get them mixed. A nice sleepy sermon with everybody drowsily waving palm leaf fans, and the only sound, aside from the minister, the buzzing of locusts in the trees outside. I didn't wake up till I found myself on my feet singing the hymn, and then I was awfully sorry I hadn't listened to the sermon. I should like to know more of the psychology of a man who would pick out such a hymn. This was it. Come, leave your sports and earthly toys and join me in celestial joys. Or else, dear friend, a long farewell. I leave you now to sink to hell. I find that it isn't safe to discuss religion with the Semples. Their God, whom they have inherited intact from their remote Puritan ancestors, is a narrow, irrational, unjust, mean, revengeful, bigoted person. Thank heaven I don't inherit God from anybody. I am free to make mine up as I wish him. He's kind and sympathetic, and imaginative, and forgiving, and understanding, and he has a sense of humor. I like the Semples immensely. Their practice is so superior to their theory. They are better than their own God. I told them so, and they are horribly troubled. They think I am blasphemous, and I think they are. We've dropped theology from our conversation. This is Sunday afternoon. Almost saw a hired man in a purple tie and some bright yellow buckskin gloves, very red and shaved, has just driven off with Carrie. Hired girl in a big hat trimmed with red roses and a blue muslin dress and her hair curled as tight as it will curl. almost always spent all the morning washing the buggy, and Carrie stayed home from church ostensibly to cook the dinner, but really to iron the muslin dress. In 2 minutes more, when this letter is finished, I am going to settle down to a book which I found in the attic. It's entitled On the Trail and sprawled across the front page in a funny little boy hand. Jervis Pendleton, if this book should ever roam, box its ears and send it home. He spent the summer here once after he had been ill, when he was about 11 years old, and he left on the trail behind. It looks well read. The marks of his grimy little hands are frequent. Also, in a corner of the attic there's a water wheel and a windmill and some bows and arrows. Mrs. Semple talks so constantly about him that I begin to believe he really lives. Not a grown man with a silk hat and walking stick, but a nice dirty, tussle-headed boy who clatters up the stairs with an awful racket, and leaves the screen doors open, and is always asking for cookies. And getting them, too, if I know Mrs. Semple. He seems to have been an adventurous little soul, and brave and truthful. I'm sorry to think he is a Pendleton. He was meant for something better. We're going to begin threshing oats tomorrow. A steam engine is coming and 3 extra men. It grieves me to tell you that Buttercup, the spotted cow with one horn, mother of Lesbia, has done a disgraceful thing. She got into the orchard Friday evening and ate apples under the trees, and ate until they went to her head. For 2 days she has been perfectly dead drunk. That is the truth I am telling. Did you ever hear anything so scandalous? Sir, I remain, your affectionate orphan, Judy Abbott. P.S. Indians in the first chapter and highwaymen in the second. I hold my breath. What can the third contain? Red Hawk leaped 20 feet in the air and bit the dust. That is the subject of the frontispiece.